I'd like to call to order the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, February 12th, 2020. The time is 6:30. Please pay respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, please note the roll.
Noted.
Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support. Moved and supported. Questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's move on to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Moved and supported. Any questions, deletions, additions? Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dar.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Public comment on items not on the agenda. Good afternoon, Brian.
Good evening. Brian Cloutier, Director, Oxford Public Library. I just wanted to touch base with the township first and let you know that I've been in touch with Clerk Wright. We're planning on, hopefully, if we get everything together, we'll have our architect and we'll have the bond language ready for your next meeting for the addition and renovation to the library. I know at my Board of Directors meeting next week, we've invited Treasurer Ferrari along with your the people that you
Bond
work
counsel?
with. Well, they're not really the bond counsel. They're people at PFM who handle the actual the financing of the bond. Bond counsel, we will work with them in getting the language put together. So I just wanted to let you know that that we'll have ready for you at your next meeting. Last night, I did attend the village council meeting. Some of you probably have read in the paper and you know that some folks on council had been talking about cityhood again. And I had a conversation with our legal counsel along with the library law specialist at the Library of Michigan. And I informed village council that should the village decide to move forward with becoming a city, that under our Establishment Act as a Public Act 164 library, once they do that, the library millage that's pre-existing would not be an obligation to them. And at such time, library services would ultimately cease to exist for people who live in the village until such time we could figure something alternative out. So I was able to share that with them. I just wanted to let you know, too, that under our Establishment Act, we have not been able to find any legal precedent that says that they would be obligated to the terms of that millage should they decide to pull away and become a city. The other component I wanted to share with you, just a couple things briefly. If you've not had an opportunity to attend the Michigan Historic Barn Preservation Exhibit at the library, I encourage you to do that because that will be wrapping up on February 21st. We'll be packing it up and sending it back to its home. So you have just a short time between now and then to come in and see that. If you'd rather be somewhere else this evening, I can tell you that we have Beekeeper at the library at 6:30, and he will be talking about beekeeping. And I also want to invite everyone who can attend this Friday at 2 o'clock at the library. We have a fireside chat with Joe Mayday, the Master of Hunt for Metamora Hunt, and he will be coming to talk about the history of the Metamora Hunt. So we encourage you to join us for that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Any other public comment?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry. Good evening. Jordan, representing 925 North Lapeer in Oxford. I just wanted to put on record today that we were intending to put a presentation in for approval of our outdoor patio at 925. and we were informed not to do so because a vote was going on about a ordinance being adapted to the patio, and I was just wanted to put that on record for today.
What are you putting on record?
Our intent was to have a presentation for today, and coming in speaking with Mr. Wright, we were informed not to do so because of an amendment to the ordinance for outdoor patios was supposed to be adopted today. I just wanted to have that on record for today.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Moving on to a second reading of zoning ordinance 67A.022, section 3.50 I-I, or whatever, light industrial, subject to section 5.3.
I move to adopt an amendment to Article 3, Section 3.50 of Oxford Charter Township of Oxford zoning ordinance 67A as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Roll call?
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Dur?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari, you're on a roll. Would you like to do B?
I move to adopt amendments to Article 3, Section 2, Article 2, Section 2, Article 6, Section 2C, 6.2C, Article 6, Section 6.2F of the Charter Township of Oxford zoning ordinance as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Dur?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Dunn?
Yes. Go, Joe.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the adoption of ordinance 133, the Charter Township of Oxford Wireless Facilities Right-of-Way Management Ordinance Amendment, to be included in the Oxford Charter Township Code of Ordinances as presented.
Support. Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Dur?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
On to the fire department. Chief?
As previously discussed back in the winter, we had the negotiation with our attorney and with Nancy Hunger's union attorney and everything back and forth. The agreement has been worked out on that. Her signed copy, the union signed copy is there for you to sign tonight, and we'll be looking for your approval on it.
I move to approve the settlement agreement waiver and release of all claims between Nancy Hunger, Oxford Township, and the Oxford Fire Department, and Oxford Firefighters Union, International Association of Firefighters, Local 4753 as presented, and authorize Supervisor William Dunn to sign the settlement agreement on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford. Further, the taxable payment of compensation to Nancy Hunger shall be paid on the next Oxford Fire Department regular payroll processing date, and the non-taxable payment shall be paid on the next scheduled Oxford Township accounts payable processing date.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Roll.
Let's show off quarters to your record, 4763.
I'm sorry,
There's a typo.
Yeah, there's a typo there.
is 4753?
63.
63. You amend that, Joe?
Yes.
Is there amended support?
Yes.
Thank you. Roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Dur?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
No.
And Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. Also, another brief update. At the last board meeting, I mentioned that we were talking with the Oxford High School to be able to hopefully start the EMT program through the school. Met with them, working back and forth. They talked to the students, and currently they have 16 students that have expressed interest with signed agreements from their parents coming forward. So we'll be setting up a meeting with the parents in the next week to meet with them to further discuss it. And it looks like we're hopefully going to be able to get it off the ground in September then. So it should be good. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah.
Joanne, you got anything? Good to go? Let's move on to Mr. Sharp and his engineering report.
This month, but we did have some good, interesting topics next month after the bids come in for the MDOT project.
Okay, thank you. Unfinished business. AT&T collection at 2795 Seymour Lake Road. Co-location, excuse me. License agreement. Any questions? You want to take this on?
For the motion or?
Yeah, whatever.
I move to approve the license agreement between the Charter Township of Oxford and New Singular Wireless PCS LLC as presented, and to approve the following documents as presented: memorandum of lease, certificate of authority, payment direction form, electronic remittance notification form, W-9 form, and authorized supervisor William Dunn and clerk Curtis W. Wright to sign the documents on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Support. Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Let's do roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
New business, grant request for traffic radar speed trailers. State your name, please.
I'm CJ Carnacchio, Communications and Grants Manager. I'm currently writing a grant proposal requesting $12,416 from AAA Traffic Safety Grant Program. If awarded, the money would be used to purchase a radar speed trailer to be used by the Oakland County Sheriff's Substation here in Oxford. The device would be utilized as part of traffic enforcement efforts on local roads and streets, subdivisions, around schools, parks, businesses, recreational trails. A radar speed trailer would help ensure officers are deployed in the most efficient and effective manner possible to help reduce speeding, calm traffic, increase motorist awareness of posted speed limits, and enhance public safety. No matching funds are required to receive this grant, and if purchased, the trailer would be owned by the Charter Township of Oxford, not the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. Both Sheriff's Lieutenant Scott Patterson and Sergeant Frank Lenz, they are behind this. They're actually the ones who requested looking into a grant for this, and I found the AAA program to help hopefully get it for them. The amount requested is based on a quote that Sergeant Lenz had received from a company, New York-based Traffic Logics. As part of the grant process, applicants are asked to submit letters of support. I already have letters of support from Fire Chief Pete Schultz, Superintendent Tim Throne, and Parks Director Ron Davis. I'm still waiting on one from Sergeant Lenz. And I've drafted, what I have for you tonight is a resolution of support from the board to be included with this grant. Basically, this isn't committing you to get the speed trailer if you don't get the grant. This is basically stating the reasons why you believe the trailer is a valuable thing and that you support pursuing this grant. So, and if you have any questions about the trailer itself, Lieutenant Patterson is here to.
Margie?
Do we have a plan in place for maintenance for the trailer?
We have not. Do you have?
Okay. I just know that in the past that's been an
Right.
issue.
No general plan. We deal with problems as they come up because there's really nothing to actually
Okay.
support that. So,
But we can count on the sheriff's department to help us out with the maintenance, even though it belongs to us.
actually, I would probably come back to you guys and make any type of recommendations if that would have to come out of the police budget to maintain that piece of equipment. It's very useful. I mean, they've been around for
Oh, yeah, I
20 years, and
absolutely agree.
they're definitely very useful. It's a
Absolutely.
great PR tool. Also, people can call in and get put on a list, and then when it comes up, they see it put out right outside their house or on their street and in their neighborhoods, and it's very
Right.
effective.
Right, yeah, I've seen that.
Excuse me, did you tell everybody, not everybody might know you?
Lieutenant Scott Patterson with Oakland County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, Scott. Any other questions?
Approve the resolution of support for pursuing a traffic safety grant to purchase a radar speed trailer as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Margie Payne. I was going to ask a question, I'm trying to remember what it was. Roll call. No, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Just one last thing, I'd like to thank Sergeant Lenz and CJ for putting this together. They worked really hard on it.
Okay, what do we got next here? Administrative fees for issuing sewer refunds. Do you have a short explanation?
Yeah, the short explanation is people are having us do their work for them to get money back for sewer overpayments, and it's causing increased time and expense of the clerk's department and the treasurer's department by the time somebody contacts us to say, hey, we overpaid our bill and we'd like to get our money back. By the time it goes to treasury, to the clerk's office to figure out the who paid, how much it was, how much was it over, and then going back, adjusting the account, then writing the check, we've got X amount of time into it, plus taxpayer dollars going into it. So I proposed a resolution with the assistance of the attorney to actually see it was legal to actually charge somebody for mistakes not bound by Oxford Township. So the recommendation is that if somebody requests a refund for their error, it's going to cost them $75 going forward if approved by this board. So therefore, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution regarding administrative fee for sewer refund request as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a question. Margie?
Are these refunds usually large, like large companies that are looking for refunds?
Usually what
We're
happens
talking
is
about residents.
somebody either moves in or moves out of a house, and it's missed at the title closing, or somebody's already paid their bill, and then the title company charges them again at closing without realizing it's been paid. Then we get the phone calls, hey, I overpaid my bill, I need to get a refund.
Nice.
So now we go to Treasury to say, well, did they get the money, or did they pay the money, rather? If they did, we need a copy of the front and the back of the check to confirm who it's going to. Then it has to go in and be adjusted on the sewer account for whoever paid. And then we have to cut a check back to whomever it's going to. So the process can last maybe upwards of hour, 2 hours of time in the office.
Who is that fall here?
In this
Those
case,
mistakes are made.
this is proposed for outside entities that are actually causing the problem for the township.
Okay, the township isn't,
No.
okay.
No. If it's a fault of the township, then we won't.
We would pay it.
We would
Okay.
make sure that we
Thank you.
cover our issue, but it's just been increasing and increasing over time, and
Mhm.
if Kelly wants to comment it, she deals with writing the checks and the process, but that's
It
what
has
we're
increased
facing.
quite a bit.
You know,
Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Curtis made it.
Okay, sorry.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
No.
And Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Did we get a second on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I motion and Trustee Curtis seconded.
okay, great. On to CDBG for emergency services. Joe, that's got to be you.
Board members, 2019 CDBG funds have been released. The county changed the protocol. For those under $10,000 now, you do not have to bid it out anymore. So the board, if it so chooses, could just award the contract to Fish and just authorize the signatures, and we can get everything going and get them the money awarded. I'll make a motion that the Oxford Township Board of Trustees agrees to waive its resolution to solicit bids and awards. The emergency services bid for 2019 Community Development Block Grant Fund, CDBG, the amount of $9,175 to Oxford Orion Fish. Authorize the CDBG coordinator, Joseph G. Ferrari, to sign the applicable documents and proposal ratification.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Payne. Let's do roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes.
Thank you, board members.
Let's move on to the budget amendments, I believe. Is there any questions on the budget amendments? There be a motion?
I move to approve the 2020 amended general fund budget 101 with the revenues and expenditures balancing at $2,739,063. Attached to the spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to resolution opposing the
Open safety path budget.
safety path budget, sorry.
Hold on here, guys, it was right there.
That's at $175,000.
Moving it. I make a motion to approve the 2020 amended safety path fund budget 297 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $261,650. Attached a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Let's do a roll call again. No, wait, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed? Why am I wasting time here? Now I believe it's on to the Regional Transit Authority resolution. Has there been any questions on this? Would there be a motion?
I move to approve the resolution in opposition to the 2020 Regional Transit Authority millage proposal as presented.
Support.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? What is that resolution? Does it have yays and nays, or
Either way.
either way?
Either way, usually you roll call it.
Let's roll call it.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
And Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Okay, folks, we've got the bids for the concrete floor that was requested for downstairs below this portion of the building to help the clerk's department initially. I did go out and we went out and we got 5 bids. We had a bid opening last week, and I believe we're recommending, you got the,
Elite Concrete.
you got a motion, or?
There was a motion. Yeah.
I do.
Okay,
I move to award the contract for the Oxford Township Hall basement project to Elite Concrete LLC in the amount of $10,476. This $10,476 amount to be expensed to the Building and Site Fund, account number 471-208-970.001 capital outlay.
Second.
been moved and seconded. I will note that out of the 5 bids, 3 bids were within $500, 3 of the low bids. It's kind of amazing. Within $50, rather. Let's move on.
Do we have to vote on that?
Oh, roll call. Thank you.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
On to the Oxford Township Employee Handbook amendments. Curtis?
Yeah, there's a couple of amendments, Board, to bring the handbook up to date. One of those happened to deal with paydays, and it revolved around election workers. What we've been doing is paying them basically at the earliest convenience after an election, and it wasn't worded that way in the handbook, so we changed it to indicate they would be paid as early as the day following the election work. And why we did that is because there's upwards of 75 checks that are cut, and they would have to be included into the other payables checks that are cut, and it could be upwards of over 250 checks. And also, the election workers would maybe have to wait up to 10 days to get their money. So that's why that was included in there. The timekeeping issue is because we installed a time clock electronically on the computers, where hourly employees will log in now with the use of a computerized time clock, and before they were using timesheets. So,
Also, the non-exempt employees
yeah, non-exempt employees,
will be timing in, and
yeah, well, keep a timesheet, because the non-exempt are your salaried deputies. So the timesheets are there for that. So I guess if there's any questions any further, but it's pretty much self-explanatory, at least from our standpoint.
I move to approve the amendments to the paydays section of the timekeeping section of the Oxford Township Employee Handbook as presented.
Second.
moved and seconded. Questions? Do roll call.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
On to the Pollyant Trail Management Council approval request for interlocal agreement, bylaws, and funding formula amendment.
This, for the Pollyant Trail, we've been reviewing this for upwards of a year, the interlocal agreement. There's a few minor changes that needed to take place because the original agreement was signed in 1997 and then subsequently amended. A couple of those highlights was the adoption of bylaws to be put in the interlocal agreement. The fiscal year was changed to a calendar year. The compensation was changed so that no council member would be compensated on behalf of the council itself for that, and some dissolution language that was put in there. And also to change the membership for village members from 2 to 1 on the council. So those are some of the highlights there. There's a couple other minor ones. But,
Why do we need more money? Is that the funding, reason for the funding?
Interlocal first.
yeah,
I move to approve the interlocal agreement between the Townships of Orion, Oxford, and Addison, the villages of Oxford and Leonard, the Pioneer Trailway Management Council, Inc., as presented, and authorize Supervisor William Dunn and Clerk Curtis W. Wright to sign the interlocal agreement on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
And Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Just a note of that, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
For the signature sheet, what we'll do is, once all the municipalities approve, we'll circulate one sheet so it can be signed all together, and then we'll date it accordingly to the last municipality that approves.
Move on to the bylaws.
I move to approve the bylaws for the interlocal agreement between the Townships of Orion, Oxford, and Addison, the villages of Oxford and Leonard, and the Pioneer Trailway Management Council, Inc., as presented.
Support.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Do a roll call again.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Funding formula. Curtis, was this, you guys
This
running
was-
short money?
Yes, we talked about this at our council meeting, and Trustee Nichols is on the council as well, and it's been a subject that was somewhat difficult to come to an agreement to keep all the parties together. So what the council did was, I got the wrong one up here. What the council did was compromised to increase the funding to $41,000 in 2020, $45,000 in 2021, and $50,000 in 2022. There were numbers that were bounced around as high as $100,000 because of the length of the trail and the funds that we have to use on the trail. Our budget this year is roughly about $54,000 to operate that trail. So we're trying to go out and get grant monies, and it's difficult if you need a match. So, but we settled for this, and it's better than nothing. But as you'll see it going down farther, our contribution increase will be $702.75 for 2020, and then $1,124.40 and $1,405.50 going forward, all things being the same. So right now, the motion is just for 2020, and we'll just build that money into our budgeting for 21 and 22 when it comes up.
So the township will owe the Pioneer Trailway that extra money?
Yes, as an amendment. I asked Deputy Supervisor Cushion whether to wait for budget amendments at the end of the year, and the recommendation was to make the budget amendment right now.
I move to approve an increase in contribution to the Pioneer Trailway Management Council, Inc., the amount of $702.75, based on Oxford Township's contribution percentage of 28.11%. The $702.75 amount to be transferred from unallocated account 101-299-890.000, contingency to contributions account 101-901-965.001, Pioneer Trail.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
And Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Items removed. Public comment. Any public comment? Connie, you got public? Board of Trustee comment. We're starting with Elgin.
No, I don't really have any. Thank you.
Patty?
I have nothing.
Curtis?
Yes, I do. I want to apologize to Jordan out there in the audience. I talked to him earlier about this being, the patio being on the agenda, and it was not. So I did send an email about 5:30, and evidently didn't get it, so I do apologize for that not being on here. Supervisor Dunn, just thank you for your work for the concrete bids and getting that in place for us. And also, ballots have been mailed out for absentees this past Wednesday, so if you're interested in an absentee ballot, we're available and willing to issue one. And that's my comments.
I have an apology to Legacy. When I got back from my few days off, I saw that I had a note from, I believe it was February 5th, and I just got it yesterday. That's when I came back, so I apologize, so we'll work with you on that. Nothing else. Joe?
I'd like to let the board know our investment income continues to increase yearly, and in 2019 alone, between all the various funds, Oxford Township earned over $335,000 in interest to benefit the fund that generated it. We also abide by the SLY method of safety first, then liquidity, then yield. That's one of our best investment years, over $335,000 in interest. That's all I have.
Congratulations, Joe. You're the one that's in charge of that.
Thank you.
Margie?
Nothing.
Jack?
I have three things. One, as you're aware, the planning commissioners, I don't know if all the trustees got one, but we were all subpoenaed for the lawsuit against the Horse Country and Jay Dunn's House of Providence. I just wondered, the planning commissioners were wondering also if there's some strategy around this information that the lawyers are gathering. Are we going to get together and see what we owe them, or do we send them duplicate copies of everybody's, that kind of thing, with our attorney? That's one.
Well, let's do the one at a time.
Yeah, just in response to that, I've been the FOIA coordinator for Oxford, so in a sense, I'll look into that further to see what needs to be produced any further. And I'll be getting with Attorney Rentop, I think on February 20th, he's coming here to talk about
February
that.
20th, he's coming?
Yeah, but I've responded to several FOIAs since this issue started, and I've got several boxes of information.
Okay, because some of this is all duplicate. It's a
Exactly.
carbon copy to every planning commissioner, and we're all going to be sitting on our computers generating paper, and that should be a unified front. Secondly, we are picking up the AC units from the Crossroads for Youth Thursday. Tomorrow. Yes, we are picking them up tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow, but I will rendezvous with you.
Okay. So we'll
For
get
what
those
purpose?
and put those downstairs. Pardon me?
For what purpose?
When we installed our water main across our property, we found a geothermal field that was not on any drawings or maps or legends, and we damaged it. So they bought AC units for the kids so they wouldn't sit through that 90-degree weather in the dormitories. And since we paid for those, we're going to pick them back up and store them here to be disposed of at a future time. I just looked up, my third and final one is I just looked up at the clock, and it's 7 o'clock. We went through a ton of business, and I just want to thank everybody for the amount of work that goes into these agenda items before these meetings. I mean, I know I'm in this office 5 days a week, and others are also, but that's a lot of stuff we went through in 30 minutes. Thank you.
Don't you have anything?
Mr. Chairman?
What, you want to do over?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay.
Okay, I thought the thermal system that was damaged by a contractor, not by our people. Is that true or not?
Yeah, but he should be notified that the thermal unit's in the ground. It's up to our engineer.
It's our job to notify them.
When he's got the information.
That partially answers my question, but as a
What's the other-
contractor...
What's the other half?
Well, the other half is, I still think there's a liability from the individual that caused the damage, not us, even though the engineer
didn't know
didn't
it was there.
identify it. Huh?
He was putting in water main, 16-inch water main, across an open field. And all of a sudden, there's some geothermal piping, black piping, that would be used for sprinkler systems. And when he went through it, there was a whole bunch of black piping sticking up in the ground. So it's hard to blame a contractor. So our water sewer committee, we can't charge Crossroads for Youth, was kind enough to let us put this pipe across our land. We just took up the bill.
I have another question. Do we have contractor, or do we have insurance to cover it?
They denied it.
They denied it.
That's why we changed insurance companies.
Goody. Okay. That's all I have.
Bill, did you have anything final?
I don't have anything final.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion to adjourn, seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You opposed?